Amici di Backdoor Podcast, bentornati, chat del venerdì, classica, si parla ovviamente di pallacanestro e oggi sono in solitaria, è vero, ma parleremo di pallacanestro con un ospite molto speciale dall'estero, dalla Grecia, un piacere ovviamente averlo ospite. Se avete seguito le nostre pagine social sapete già chi è, quindi inutile tirare in lungo, presento George Zakkas da SDNA in Grecia. Welcome, George. How are you?
Hello, man. Thanks for having me. Everything's fine. What about you?
Oh, very good, very good. Crazy days in Athens right now. What are your feeling about the situation of Panathinaikos?
As you saw, right now, these are crazy days in Athens. Very busy day for us. After Giannakopoulos' press conference, a lot of things happened, and I don't know if you want to put them in a schedule so that you and your audience can have it a little bit planned. Would you like to start by that?
I like to start with I think the first and the second letter. Today arrives a second letter from Panathinaikos to Euroleague. What are the thoughts about Euroleague in Panathinaikos? What are the future about Panathinaikos in Euroleague?
So Panathinaikos people were very disappointed with the way that Euroleague is treating them the last few years. There was like an open war between them like 2 or 3 years ago. Things started getting better and better the previous year, but still there's no peace between them because there are a lot of problems. As you saw in today's letter, Panathinaikos asked for some money that Euroleague still owe to the teams, and also Panathinaikos asked from Euroleague to be informed about, as they wrote exactly, about financial negotiations and agreements. It's something that people in Panathinaikos say all the time, that they don't know the exact amount of money that they are gonna get through Euroleague and through a year in Euroleague. So teams need to be better informed, and Panathinaikos is asking for that openly.
And after the press conference of Giannakopoulos, he sold the team for 25 million euros. There is anyone could buy the Panathinaikos, or there's a negotiation, or is there nothing of it around?
So Dimitris Giannakopoulos told to the crowd that the team is for sale for 25 million euros. As he said, he and his family have put in Panathinaikos during this 33 years period more than $450 million, something like that, $500 million. He and his family have invested in Panathinaikos €500 million. So he told the crowd, he told people, he told to all the investors out there that the team is for sale for 25 million euros. Still, there is no interest for what we know. We haven't heard about any potential investor out there in the market.
After the conference, all Europe waiting for that conference and wants to know what Giannakopoulos thought. Right now, there's a situation that Panathinaikos could go away from Euroleague, and team like Partizan, like Virtus Bologna, like Zenit St. Petersburg, as far as I know, wants to buy, if it's possible, the license for Euroleague. What's your thought about the situation? Is there a real chance for Panathinaikos to leave the Euroleague, or there's a chance they still in the Euroleague next year?
Look, Simone, first of all, I think that we have to tell people so that everyone knows what the bylaws of Euroleague are. If a team that has a guaranteed contract like Panathinaikos and the other 10 teams, there are 11 teams with guaranteed contracts for 10 years, wants to get out of Euroleague, they have two ways. One is to pay 10 million euros and get their buyout, get their freedom. Panathinaikos is not going to do that. That's for sure. The second way is that by transferring their license and their rights to another team that doesn't already have a guaranteed contract. That team might be Partizan, might be Virtus Bologna, I don't know. What I heard is that teams that already have a wild card, like Bayern München or like Villeurbanne or like Zenit, will not be in that procedure. Anyway, in order that to happen, EuroLeague teams have to agree that they decide to give Panathinaikos license to another team. That's not something easy to happen, and as you can understand, it's something very, very complicated. As Dimitris Giannakopoulos said a few days ago, Panathinaikos, Olympiacos, and Maccabi Tel Aviv are the three teams that bring the most money to EuroLeague, either from TV rights, either from sponsorships, either from their big brand names. It's not something that you can do in one day. Panathinaikos cannot leave EuroLeague that easy. It's a complicated subject. But after yesterday's letter, of course, this subject is on the table. Now, EuroLeague and EuroLeague teams have to decide if they're going to throw Panathinaikos and choose another team to take their place. But it's not something that can happen in one day, as you can understand.
Absolutely. And Giannakopoulos said bye-bye officially in a post today. And but we could talk about transfer market, about Panathinaikos. The first name we already know is Nicolaitis, is on his verge to Barcelona. Is that right? Multi-year contract, a lot of rumor about him. As far as you know, is that true? Is totally gone from Panathinaikos?
Nick is totally gone from Panathinaikos, and from what we know, he has agreed with Barcelona, but he hasn't signed any contract yet. That's an information that it's well written through the internet, through social media, through lots of websites. It's not something that I reveal to you right now. You have probably read it a lot these days. The big thing around Panathinaikos is the way that the scouting program right now is. Let me explain that to you and to your audience.
Yeah.
Last year, Coach Pitino promoted Nikos Papas, who was an assistant coach in Panathinaikos, to the head scouting position. Nikos Papas had some other coaches under him, and they studied the whole market around Europe, around Asia, around USA, of course, around China, and they made lots of. They put some opinions, on the table for any transfer budget that Panathinaikos may have. So right now, it might be early to talk about specific targets because Panathinaikos isn't sure about the exact amount of budget. How can a team be sure about the budget if they don't know about the competition that we're going to play? You can understand that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There are some names on the market, like Lorenzo Brown and Langston Hall for the guard positions, but it's nothing advanced yet. Jordan Morgan was a name on the list, but not on the top of the list. He is the center of Karsilyaka. He's not on the top of the list of Panathinaikos coaches, and there are any advanced talks with him at the moment. The only thing that might be advanced, but it's not advanced yet, is Panathinaikos' interest in two Greek players, Leonidas Kasselakis from Prometheas and Lefteris Brochoridis from Aris. The big thing is that both players are under contract with their teams. So if they got their freedom, then Panathinaikos might try to sign them. It's a little bit early, as I told you before, to talk about specific names, specific targets of Panathinaikos, because the coaches don't know yet the specific budget.
I completely understand the situation, and for this reason, probably will be a risk for Panathinaikos to stay in this mixed zone between EuroLeague, Basketball Champions League. Don't take a position about the budget, the competition, what players they want. because the market is so fast, increase so fast. And what will be the time, hypothetically, when the Panathinaikos take a decision in what competition they could join the next year? There is a timetable or not, and they wait?
Look, let me make something clear. First of all, Panathinaikos right now have options about player regarding any budget that they may have. As I told you, there is a whole scouting system which is ready for any potential budget. So Panathinaikos got some names on the table in case they got 4 million budget, 6 million budget, 8 million budget. So there's been a procedure so far, but nothing advanced. Talking about Euroleague and Basketball Champions League, as I told you earlier, it's not Panathinaikos' decision right now. Panathinaikos is not going to pay 10 million euros to get their freedom from Euroleague. So right now, Euroleague have to call a general assembly, and then Euroleague teams have to decide whether they agree with Panathinaikos' proposal or not. It's not something that Panathinaikos can decide in 1 day or 2 days or 1 week. Right now, we need to hear from Euroleague what's going to happen.
And now talk about the past of Panathinaikos. You talk about Pitino. As a journalist, how was the Pitino tenure in Panathinaikos? Was successful in the first one, not so successful in the second year? What was Pitino? What Pitino means for Panathinaikos and for you as a journalist to have a great coach as him in your city?
I mean, who am I to talk about Coach Rick Pitino, Hall of Famer, right? He was giving lessons to everyone around him during his period in Panathinaikos. His players, his other coaches, journalists, I mean, everyone, literally. As you said, his first time in Panathinaikos was way more successful than the second one, but I have to put, a but here, because his second period was not over because of what happened with coronavirus. So at the time that EuroLeague season stopped, Panathinaikos was in the 6th place. It's not a secret that Panathinaikos wasn't playing that good in the last 1 or 2 months, but still they were 6th. So I mean, they might have their chance.
And come back to the figure of Nick Calathes, the leader, the face of the Panathinaikos. What was the reaction of the fan when they understand Nick will be in another team? What was the reaction, and what type of team will be without him, without a flag for this team?
Mm-hmm. Look, in Calathes' situation, there were no mixed feelings. There wasn't one that was happy and one that was sad. Everyone was sad. Yeah. I mean, he's the leader of Panathinaikos. He's probably one of the best playmakers in Europe. And he's the captain of Panathinaikos. He was the guy that took the team after Dimitris Diamantidis. So for the fans, it was something special, a special bond, a special connection. And as you can understand too, teams tend to have that kind of connection with a player that's coming from the same country. So for Panathinaikos to have another Greek captain who is also one of the main faces in the Greek national team was something huge. Nick was the flag, was the captain, was the idol for Panathinaikos, was the face of the team. But Panathinaikos didn't manage to go to the Final Four the last few years. What everyone in Athens said was that sometimes the structure of the team was not good around Calathes, was not built with the way that Calathes played. Panathinaikos tried to make a team around Calathes this summer, putting some shooters like Jimmer Fredette, like Wesley Johnson, like some stretch four, like Mitoglu and Thomas, and players like this. And as we said before, Panathinaikos was in 6th position, but we didn't get the finale after that coronavirus situation.
And right now, I suppose Panathinaikos we will be searching for a new face. Marketplace.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I think that Panathinaikos already have their new face.
Yes. Who will be?
Okay, yeah, he is Ioannis Papapetrou.
Yeah.
He is obviously the new face, the new idol, the new captain of Panathinaikos. As you might know, his father was playing in Panathinaikos too. He is a guy that he's well connected to the fans. He's an amazing player that can do so many things on the court. And he's very, very mature. He might be only 26 years old, but he have played in 2 Euroleague Final Fours with Olympiacos. He has been a pro since he was 17 years old. He is a member of the national team, and he's an incredible player. I think that he will be the next captain, the next main face of the team.
Yes, it was the question about Papapetrou. He was involved in some rumors, talk about Milan, other possible destination, but as far as Caletes go, I completely understand. Will be the face of the Panathinaikos. You made an interview with the Casey Rivers, if I remember correctly, last week about a lot of topics. Can you talk about it in a shortly way?
Sure. Casey is a very interesting person. First of all, other than a great shooter, he's an interesting person who got the way to express himself, to talk about his feelings, to talk about what he's thinking right now. One of our main subjects was his Twitter bio, which is Hooper with an opinion. As LeBron says that he is more than an athlete, Casey Rivers says that he is a hooper with an opinion. So we talked about hoopers who don't only hoop, but also express themselves and talk about their feelings. We talked about lots of things. He told me that it's more difficult for a person to have a complete opinion about a difficult subject rather than scoring 5 3-pointers in a derby. And what he also said, which was very interesting and of course at the same time very sad, was that he had a very bad timing with a short staff of depression after Panathinaikos time, because he was a free agent for some months and he didn't know how to deal with it. So he was telling to himself like, "Oh, this is over. Jesus, I don't gonna find another job," and stuff like that. So he had some kind of depression, but he went through it. He got some opportunities, and then he went back to EuroLeague level. We also talked about Zalgiris and coach Arūnas Jaskevičius, and what he told me was that Saras can bring the best out of any of his players, and that's the secret that's gonna keep Saras to the elite level for years. Players love him because he's yelling at them, but he knows what he's talking about. It's not like a professional who's yelling at you, but maybe haven't been in his place. Saras have been in his place, have taken EuroLeague so many times, EuroLeague titles, EuroLeague victories, so he knows what he's talking about. People understand him, and he motivates his players to bring the best out of them.
In the past, Chris Singleton and Mike James were in Athens in the Panathinaikos color, and Chris Singleton said, if right now, before the coronavirus, obviously, me and Mike are in Panathinaikos uniform, we could bring the EuroLeague title to this team. Do you agree? And what are the feelings about, in particular, Mike James, who was here in Milan and now in Moscow? He extended his contract.
So Chris said that during another interview we had here at SDNA. He said that if in summer of 2018 Panathinaikos managed to keep them both with Caletes, the Greens might win the EuroLeague. There was a great feeling from Panathinaikos fans to these guys, and within these guys, Chris, Mike James, Kalethis, Rivers, Gist, all of these guys were like a family. They had a crazy special bonding. Talking about Mike James, I have to say that he is one of the favorite players for the fans that played in Panathinaikos the last 5 or 10 years. Fans are crazy in love with him, with Mike James. Although that he and the team couldn't make the next step and bring the team to a Final Four.
In the last few questions, talk about the other side of Athens, the Olympiacos. Olympiacos still in the second series of Greek basketball. What this affected the Greek championship? The lack of a team like Olympiacos is reasonably a problem for the Greek league, I suppose.
Obviously, I mean, every league wants the big teams to participate in it, right?
Yep.
For commercial reasons, for the fans, for big games, everything. I mean, which league doesn't want a Panathinaikos Olympiacos game, right? Mm-hmm. For sure, the Greek league miss Olympiacos this season and will miss them the next season too, because it's their decision to stay in the second league. And as we know from the bylaws, they're gonna be there too. So I think that it's a problem for Greece, for Greek basketball, which needs a solution as soon as possible.
And in Italy, we understand the situation. What is the picture of Olympiacos, which are a team in the second league in Greece and a team in Euroleague? They could build a team for competing in the Euroleague. They had some problems in the past, but right now they're looking in a good way to the Euroleague next season.
So as you know, Olympiacos Euroleague team, first team, as you can say it, had some financial problems 2 years ago. Right now, they seem to be in a better situation, in a more stable situation, and they are trying to make some good moves around the market. They made an offer to Malcolm Delaney, which wasn't that good as it was the offer from Olympia Milano. And their biggest target, then the guy that they want to put as a face of the team, of the next team, is Kostas Loukas. Coach Barzokas likes him a lot. He's a Greek player. He's a very talented player and a very experienced player. If we talked about Papapetro and experience before, what can we say about Loukas, who had been in 7 Final Fours, I think? He's one of the most mature players in Europe, a player that can take a team and lead them to the biggest level, the highest level. What we know, because I know that you are going to ask me, is that Olympiacos and Loukas are finalizing a deal. But from what we know, it's not something that it's been done yet. It's not something 100% completed. If you ask me, I cannot put Real Madrid out of the table about Kostas Loukas. And of course, we have to wait and see what's going to happen in Fenerbahce, first of all, right?
Yeah. Last question.
Because Kostas right now have a contract with them.
As other Fenerbahce players who are in talk with some rumors. Last question is about your national team. Giannis Antetokounmpo is the face of the team, obviously, is the MVP of the NBA, but around him there's a lot of talent, a lot of players, a lot of veterans. Greece have everything for take a shoot for every goal. What do you think this national team could make in the next few years in international competition?
I totally agree with you, because right now, if a guy that is not here, he's just looking at the whole picture, sees the Greek national team roster, they will see that there is great quality and solutions for every place. There are some very mature guys. There are solutions for every position. So I mean, right now, Greece have what it takes to go to the biggest level and compete. Maybe to go for a medal. I don't know if they are going to do it in the Olympics next summer, because it's not something that we can take for granted. the Greeks have to go through a very difficult pre-Olympic tournament in Canada against a team that maybe gonna have 12 NBAers in the roster. But I think that they got what it takes to compete in the highest level, especially if they try to build a strong team around Giannis.
Thank you so much for your time, for sharing with us your thoughts and the situation of the Greek basketball. Thank you for your time and a very good job as SDNA Greece. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Thank you very much for having me, Simone. Anytime, it would be my pleasure.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Ringraziamo ancora George Zakkas che ci ha veramente condiviso quella che è la situazione greca, la situazione del Panathinaikos ovviamente e non solo, di tutto il basket greco. Vi ringraziamo per essere stati con noi, ovviamente questa era intervista per forza di cose in inglese, speriamo l'abbiate potuta capire. Domani sul nostro sito usciranno alcuni estratti con il video integrale della cosa, giusto per aiutarvi a comprendere nel caso abbiate avuto problemi. George Zakkas, chi segue il basket, i rumors, lo conosce abbastanza bene. SDNA Grecia è uno dei più ben informati portali di pallacanestro sportivi in generale di tutto il panorama, quindi per noi è stato davvero un gran piacere, un grande onore averlo con noi. Ringraziamo voi che ci avete seguito, lo fate, anzi se volete iscrivetevi al nostro canale YouTube, trovate ovviamente il video sia sulla nostra pagina Facebook che sulla nostra pagina, sul nostro canale YouTube, fate un bel subscribe di modo da essere sempre aggiornati su tutti i nostri video, ovviamente noi li comunichiamo sempre sui nostri canali social. Io vi ringrazio ancora, vi auguro buon weekend e ovviamente rimanete su www.backdoorpodcast.com.